Sorry, too busy
Hello.
vibing. I still love that music. Hello and welcome to episode 150 of
Whoop,
the
whoop.
Door 14 Hockey Podcast. A century and a half, guys. Congratulations. Tip of the cap to all of us. Well done. Here we are.
I've been there
You'll
for at
notice-
least 5 of them.
You have, and the 5 that you've been there for, it feels like 100. Guys, you'll notice that we are one down right now. Marty will be joining us, but let's run on with the introductions. I am your temporary stand-in host, John, and alongside me I have Dave
Hello.
and Aaron.
Hey.
Guys, I'm just planning to vamp here for the next 5 minutes until Marty joins, and then he can start doing the podcast as normal. Meanwhile, let's just talk about Olympics, because we've actually got like a gold medal game happening right now. I was chatting to you guys before we came on, was thinking we might have had a winner before we got started, but actually the game has gone to overtime. The US and Canada are in overtime right now. The women's game, deciding who's going to take the gold medal. Just a little over 2 minutes to go. Canada were sitting 1-0 up and pulled the netminder, and pulling the netminder worked.
Whoop, whoop.
You say, hold on, you say Canada were 1-0 up and then US pulled the netminder? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be career suicide for any coach and any netminder who were 1-0 up who decided to pull their netminder.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
I
this,
don't understand-
this
I don't
doesn't
understand why
make any
that-
sense.
Why did that need clarification?
You're the one that talked about it.
You're the one who's been here for 5 whole podcasts out of 150.
I should know this by now.
Anyway, aside from that, I'll keep everyone posted on how this game goes. I'm really hoping Marty's going to get here for the game-winning goal, because as everyone knows, I love a good goal horn, and that will 100% be coming when this game-winning gold medal goal gets scored. But otherwise, how are we? Dave, how are you?
Good. Obviously, I was away for a bit, so I haven't seen hockey in ages, and I had planned to maybe get the Challenge Cup game, which then ended up being postponed. So I'm sure we chat about later. But yeah, it's interesting enough. Yeah, all good. Had a bit of
Very nice.
time out
And
in out in NYC in the frigid cold.
Went to New York, but right at the start of the Olympic break. So how many arenas within reach and no hockey to be seen?
I know. And then it wasn't even that. Like I'd done a bit of a how far out I would have to get to find hockey, and it was some trek to find anything worth watching. So it didn't happen. But to be fair, I had a great time. Done all the sightseeing this time round. Minus 14. Minus 24 wind chill. My boogers were freezing in my mustache.
Ew.
Yeah.
It says more about you than it does really
Yeah, but the
much
weather.
else to be sure. Yeah.
It was really weird because when you're in New York, whenever you're walking down the streets, you don't notice the wind, and then as soon as you're on the avenue, it's like woof, a wall of wind coming flying down. It was a bit crazy, but I had a great time. It was good fun.
Well, at least when
Very
you were
nice.
there, you say there wasn't any game, so that's why you didn't get to go. I was there in November, and I was walking past the stadium every single day, and there was one day that was all lit up, ready for a game, and I had to go to work, and I was like, wasn't fair.
Brilliant.
Aaron, how have you been?
I've been good. Yeah, it's been pretty busy. But nothing strange or startling. I am hoping. Talking about more trips to America. I'm off to America at the start of March, out to Boston. So they're playing a game there. So fingers crossed. I think it might even be the Thursday. So maybe I can join in live. No, because it'll be Thursday night. That doesn't matter. But I can send you some pictures for the podcast later on when I'm at
The fact
the
that
garden.
the fact that you're not willing to take a break from office time in the States to jump on a podcast with us from whatever office location you're in, it's more making me realise why you've only been on 5 out of 150 podcasts,
I know.
to be totally honest.
Imagine having bills. It's horrible.
It's just, I mean, priorities, man. Priorities.
I did try to get us or reach out to someone in Gothenburg to get us coverage over there in the CHL, but
Were your colleagues not willing to leave the office to go and do something for a random podcast that they've never
no,
heard of? Let
we were trying to
alone
figure out if we actually had funding to send one of us.
we were that enormous pot of money that we have sitting in the Door 14 hockey account. We've decided
Huge amount
is
of money.
not to go to Gothenburg.
Yeah.
No.
It is in fact all to be spent at the next visit to Bunkers Inn. I believe whenever we're all about mid-50s and we all have actual time to go back to playoffs in Nottingham again when our kids are all teenagers. Guys, let's crack on. We're gonna
To give it a little bit more time, John, tell us about you. How are you, sir?
stressed. Car broke down. Wasn't fun. It's still in the garage. So technically we are carless with 2 kids in rural Fife, which is not fun. I have our backup car, which was supposed to have been sold on Marketplace by now. Thank God it's not. It's going for its MOT tomorrow, so fingers crossed it passes, and I'll be driving the box for however long it takes to get our actual car back. But saying that, it's not all bad news. The house build is going well, and our concrete floors got poured yesterday, actually.
I was going to say, it sounded all doom and gloom. The last message I saw from you, you were saying it was all coming up Millhouse.
Oh, it is. Like I'm hoping. Don't keep me to this. I'm hoping there's only 3 more podcasts before I'll have a new background once again. And
I demand that you bring that wallpaper with you.
Yeah.
Or you need to bring that wallpaper with you.
Listen, I'll tear a strip off and bring it with me, but the guy whose house it is might have a significant amount to say about that when he comes back and realizes there's a full piece of wallpaper missing. But yeah, things are progressing. We've got dates for kitchen install, for bathroom installs, all that sort of stuff. We've got 2 finished bathrooms, just no plumbing or anything going to them, which is really nice. So toilets aren't fixed. So I'm really hoping one of the builders doesn't decide to do a long drop while he's there, because it'll just go straight down into my kitchen because none of the pipes are connected. So
There's
yeah,
jokes to be
that's-
made there, but we always try to keep these things clean. So
Chris
cleaner than my house right now. Yeah, long drop and a sudden stop. Guys, we can't really hold it off any longer.
Vamp anymore. Yeah.
We can't vamp anymore. We are 8.5 minutes into this podcast, and he's still not here. So I'll tell you what, guys, let's move quickly on to period 1. Period 1 is our local hockey news. Thanks, Fuzz. I'm not reading that out loud for the audio podcast. Period 1 is where we look at hockey in the UK. Generally, the Elite Ice Hockey League. Sometimes we dip our toe in other leagues, but I believe this time around, we are just going to stick with the Elite League. We might, time allowing, later on in the podcast, we might have a quick chat about the National League. But for now, let's just keep period 1 to the Elite League. And let's start off by having a look, as we always do, by looking at the standings.
Oh, thing of beauty.
So, yeah, I spent 15 minutes stressing about this, to be honest. Marty does a remarkable job when he puts this all together. And yeah, I will only be doing it for so long. If Marty decides he's never doing it again, we won't do this. I'm being totally honest. Unless someone who watches the podcast or watches us on social media is a budding graphic designer and wants to do this for us through the week, doing it panically after the games on a Wednesday that we often get, so that we've got an up-to-date league table. Please do get in contact with us, because if Marty doesn't do it, it's very, very quickly not going to happen. But anyway, let's look at the standings in the Elite League as they currently stand. In first place, we have our very own Belfast Giants. 38 games played, good for 60 points. In second, the Cardiff Devils, 39 games played for 56 points. The Sheffield Steelers, with 39 games played, have 55 points, while the Nottingham Panthers, with 38 games played, have 54 points. Square in the middle of the league, the Manchester Storm sit in fifth with 38 games played and 46 points, and the Coventry Blaze, with 39 games played, have 42 points. The Guildford Flames are in seventh, 40 games played, with the same points as Coventry at 42. The Glasgow Clan are in that all-important eighth spot, the final playoff spot, with 39 games played, good for 39 points. The Dundee Stars are the first of those teams that will miss out on playoffs if they don't come up to 8th place. 38 games played, only 23 points. And once again, propping up the entire table, strongest team in the league, as we like to say, the Fife Flyers, 40 games played, only 20 points. Dave, it's been a while since you've been on the podcast. The table has changed significantly in some places, not a lot in other places. Let's start off with you having a look at the top of the table. What jumps out to you?
That top pack. Obviously the Giants have got a bit of a stretch there with a game in hand under their direct competitors right below them. But in general, that pack has been swapping and changing quite regularly, which is good to see. You like to see that sort of continued to happen. Obviously, as a Giants fan, it's nice to see the Giants sitting top of the league. Sometimes it can be a bit of a curse because you're then everyone's team to beat. But I still think that it's that top four are some serious hockey teams, and every single one of them are super interesting to watch. And I still think our biggest competitor, the one that I would be most concerned about, is Nottingham, sitting there in fourth. I think that they're primed to make another big push. They're definitely not where they're sitting. Definitely doesn't represent where they are, especially given the matches over the past weekend. So yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Aaron, just for the fact that there's only two of you for me to talk to, I'm gonna shift it round. I'm gonna ask you to give your thoughts on the bottom half of the table. Coventry Blaze down to the Fife Flyers. Not a lot of movement there. Guildford have gone backwards slightly into that 7th place. But out of those 5, anything significant jumping out at you there?
I know that we were talking about and you were asking about the league. We were talking about the graphics earlier. One thing I absolutely love about these graphics now is that we can always go back to the previous slides to see what has changed since the last podcast. Do you not do that? I always do that. So they're right here. So from the last podcast, everything is the same apart from the ones Dave mentioned there. So Nottingham Panthers, Sheffield Shielders switched around, and then Coventry Blaze and Guildford Flames switched around as well. So they're the only 4 teams that have switched around in the last 2 weeks. Everything else has been as it is. So I know you're only asking me about from the Coventry the Guildford Flames down. I can't really see much changing here. I know we're going to be talking about Fife later on. Okay, they got 2 extra points here in the last 2 weeks, but that's only 2 extra points in 4 games.
Yeah, tough.
It's true.
Here's a question now for everyone: do you see Fife and Dundee moving up, or let's face it, do we see Dundee moving up to 8th place in time for playoffs?
No. Dundee's season is a disaster, and it's only not being talked about because of how bad Fife's season is on and off the ice, and we're going to talk about the off ice very, very soon. Dundee sitting 38 games played, 23 points. Any other season, that is an abject disaster. That is Mark Lefebvre should be out of a job right now. He shouldn't be still there. He should be on his 2nd departure out of Tayside. But the complete and utter shambles that is Fife season is making Dundee look better than what they actually are. And I could honestly see Mark Lefebvre surviving into another season, depending on what sort of deal he has with the owners in Dundee. I could see him surviving another season because of just how bad Fife are. Now, we will come on to talk about Fife and what the future might look like there, but if Dundee have another season like what they've had over the last couple of years, which is pretty much this, they are the eternally ninth place team.
Yep.
Something is going to have to happen there. Either we talked about the Fife, either new owners, new money, new coach, something has to happen because that's not sustainable. I would argue and say that there are 8 teams in the league currently who could be competing for silverware every year. Those 2 teams, 2/3 of the Scottish contingent of teams, are absolutely nowhere near. And there is a Scottish team who, if they wanted to, could replace one of those teams in a heartbeat and probably compete. The Edinburgh Capitals are drawing bigger crowds than Dundee and Fife on a regular basis right now. Now, admittedly, they are, I don't want to call them big fish in a small pond because the Caps have had their own issues over the years, from when they collapsed and dropped out of the Elite League with the reformation of the Racers, to losing their ice time, to then basically doing exactly the same thing to the Racers and usurping their ice time. They've come back, but they've made it a success. A lot of things have changed in Edinburgh, and I would love to see the Caps back in the Elite League. Do I think they'll do it? Potentially, but not right now.
That's taken them a couple of years, right?
It has. But if Fife
and-
or Dundee were to collapse now, I still don't think the Caps take the jump. If I was the Caps, I'd be waiting to see what expansion looks like in the Elite League in the coming years. Wait for Dublin, which might only be 18 months away, and potentially wait for Liverpool. That's my other one. Wait for that. The league gets bigger. I think if we get to a 12-team league, possibly 13, then yeah, let's bring Edinburgh back in. But that's neither here nor there. They're not in that table of 10, so I don't entirely know how you let me ramble on and start talking about the Edinburgh Capitals.
Edinburgh always got decent numbers, even at their worst. They always had at least one of their stands pretty full. Their issue was always down to rink ice time, how that was divvied up, and who determined who got it. It kept changing out, so I'm not sure what's the what the plans would be long term.
Yeah. Guys, before we move on, just one team that I want to talk about a little bit, because I don't think they're being talked about enough, is the Manchester Storm. They're sitting fairly solidly in that 5th space, and that 5th place is really, really important, actually, when it comes to playoff positioning. They're looking very comfortable in there. They've got a couple of points gap. They've got a 4-point gap to the Coventry Blaze. They've got a game in hand. I don't think they're going to threaten the top 4. I don't think they're going to move into that top 4. But that 5th place, and the reason why I bring it up as being really important, is the likelihood is, once the select, I can't remember how the playoffs is working this year, if it's the top seeds get the choice, or if it just works on 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, and so on. But either way, that 5th place is the ideal position for Manchester to be in, because they avoid potentially at least the top 2 teams, who probably won't select them. And at the very least, if it is sort of the numbers game and doing it that way, they'll play the team that are just directly above them come the end of the season. That's the perfect positioning for Manchester, given the sort of season that they've had. They've been silent assassins. They've just moved through. They've won games. They've sort of had the odd surprising win. But they've also won the games that you would expect them to win as well. They haven't really had a massive banana skin game yet. They haven't lost massively to Fife, let's say, for example. So I think Manchester, they're ones to watch as we come towards the end of the regular season and into playoffs. I think the top 4 teams would do well to keep an eye on what Manchester are doing.
100%.
Yeah, but when it comes to playoffs, we always say this: playoff weekend is just a different game. Like you're only talking about playoffs there. You're not talking about the league. You don't think they're going to make a an amazing run of form here, but with the playoffs, it can be anyone's game.
It can, but if I'm Manchester right now, the points gap is far too big to look at competing for league titles. It's just
Yep.
it's far too big. For me, they should be looking at playoffs. They should be looking to cement that fifth space, and after that, it's 4 games.
Mhm.
It's a home away series against whatever team they end up playing, and if they can get through that, then it's a semi-final and a final. That's a potential for silverware. Now, it's the same
Yeah.
for all of the top 8 teams, don't get me wrong. But if you're one of those teams that realistically, the league is going to be decided between the top 4. We know it every season. We're not in a league where a Dundee or a Glasgow or a Guildford could surprise everyone and put a run of games together and go 56 games through a season, 54 again, I can't remember, 54, 56 games, and come out on top. They're not funded that way. They're not staffed that way. Their rinks are not set up that way. Like there's a reason the arena teams win the league. We've had a couple of teams who've gone close. Hi, Marty. I'll come to you in a second before I let you take back over again. We've had a couple of teams come close. We've got the likes of Glasgow who completely or underperform in that respect. They should be up in the top 4. We should have a top 5. If I'm being honest, Glasgow should be in that. But Manchester, they need to target those 4 games at the end of the season. 2 weeks for glory, 2 weeks for silverware. And imagine what that does to the league for Manchester, a team like Manchester, to potentially win the playoffs. And not only that, get the Conti Cup entry for next season as well. Right. Marty. Hello.
Hello. What did I miss? We're predicting Manchester Storm for playoff victory and Continental Cup next year. Is that what I'm picking up here?
Absolutely.
John's going fifth. Oh,
Wow. That's some bold statement there, John. That's
Well,
almost
all I've said is they're in 5th place. They've been little silent assassins getting there. They need to cement that and go for 4 good games. They could potentially win playoffs.
And did anybody else notice that Marty joined after the goal?
Oh no!
So you're saying
Aw.
that everything was absolutely fine. He was just watching the hockey.
Yeah.
No. So what
Yeah.
happened? No. So what happened was I was trying to log.
Sorry, let's just be clear.
Yes.
USA have just won the gold medal.
Woot woot. Whoop whoop.
I had tried to log in and do that myself, and then I kind of got stuck somewhere there, and then I had to log back in again, and it was just a nightmare. Anyway, John, where are we before I take over? If you just want to continue, maybe with this part,
We've just done the league standings. We are getting into the stories in period 1 right now. I'm going to take the league table away. You take it away for the start of period 1.
Perfect. Let's get stuck into period 1 then. Period 1 is a roundup of all of the stories from around the UK. First off, apologies. I am loaded with the cold, hence the sound today. And also I was a bit late on the podcast, so again, apologies for that.
Sing
too.
Smelly Cat for us.
It would sound really, really good. I guarantee it. But guys, let's get stuck into the stories for this podcast this week. And let's start off with, I suppose, the story dominating, again, the same team dominating another week of stories. And that is the Fife Flyers coming out this week with a number of different. I suppose that it all started after this past weekend when the Fife Flyers coach alluded in a post-game press conference that there was some underlying rumblings of discontent and issues behind the scenes in Fife. That then led on to basically something being published then on they published the Fife Today published a story on what day was that Monday, Tuesday?
Yep.
Who is this floating head talking to us?
Where am I going?
There's a discombobulated voice that's just talking to us.
Let's see what happened there. My
Did you
word.
turn your video off?
No, I didn't do it. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, as I was saying, the story basically broke then that the Fife Flyers owners are coming under growing pressure to address fan concerns over the club's finances. Over the last few days, there's been after that cryptic post game message, there was a story then that broke to say that they were having problems paying players. Some players had not been paid. There was problems with suppliers, sparking fears over financial difficulties just 8 months after the new owners took over. This included their agreement with Warrior, who is their main shirt sponsor or main shirt designers and creators and producers, holding back on jerseys because supposedly a bill hasn't been paid or a bill or two haven't been paid to Warrior. We also then heard from the Flyers, or heard around the Flyers, that the owner is an Israeli owner who was having problems getting the money out of Israel and into Scotland.
Let's be totally clear before we get ourselves in potential difficulties. Is that none of this has been confirmed through the team. There has been no statement from the team. The primary source for everything that's been put out in the public domain is another social media channel. Nikki over at 4000 Accountant has put this out. Now, generally speaking, Nikki doesn't put anything out that he hasn't had confirmed in one way or another. He does have a lot of contacts through players, being a former player himself. So, listen, the team have said nothing. The team are seemingly ignoring all of this that's been going on. They've been continuing to post all of their regular stuff with competitions, with school visits, and all the rest of it. So from anyone looking on the outside in at the face of the club, everything seems to be totally fine. Clearly that can't be the case. You've got Jamie Russell, the head coach, and now I think he's general manager, or he has another title. I think he is GM as well. For your GM to come out and say something like that, to say that the guys did well with the week that they just had, I mean, if you're a Fife fan, of course your ears prick up at that, because what's happened? There hasn't been anything in the news. Nobody else is injured. Nobody else is banned. Although there was another one later on, which we'll talk about. The team seemed to be just ostriching with this and just not engaging at all with the speculation that's going on. And I said online, I said on our socials before, we were here a year ago. This is exactly the situation that Flyers fans were in under the previous ownership, which was exactly what they were told wouldn't happen again. They were told by Max Berbrier, admittedly, Max is no longer part of the team. Max told them that this team was going to be an open book for the fans. It was an open forum. Whatever information they could give to fans, they would do it at the point of something happening. Whatever's going on now with the departure of Max, with the departure of the other people relating to business decisions that have been made, they're circling the wagons. I don't know what's going on here. We had a lot of engagement from the team at the start of the season, from the new owners as a podcast. We had a lot of contact. That disappeared as well. We were ready to go. I was ready to go down to Kirkcaldy and interview the backroom team. I was ready to go and interview players. All the contact stopped. And that was before any of this nonsense. This was a few months ago. This was pre-Christmas. All the contact stopped from Fife. Something has happened in the middle of everything, and I don't know what it is. If you're a Fife Flyers fan, I'd be worried.
Well, muted. You were saying there something's happened. There's just been a storm of news from them over the last couple of months. So it couldn't just be one thing. It's just one thing after the other with Fife.
It is. And there are the Fife Free Press. Alan Crowe does a really good job at covering the Flyers. He does a fantastic job at keeping fans up to date with what's happening in Kirkcaldy. He previously has had a really good relationship with the team. Maybe not with the owners, but at least with the team, with the guys behind the scenes. He could get interviews and he could get answers. He's seemingly being blanked now as well. He can't get answers. He even, and I've never known Alan to do this, but he put out a list of the questions that
Seen that.
he had asked the club, including things like, "Are you going to fulfill your fixtures through this season?" Now, supposedly, Jamie Russell has said yes, they are. But at the same time, he also confirmed that someone from the club has been in conversation with the league. We don't know what about, but the Flyers have had to go back to the league and either explain themselves or go begging. Now, another rumour that I've heard, again, completely not confirmed yet, is that they were running really short on sticks and may not have been able to compete against Guildford. What I have heard is that Guildford actually brought sticks for them. Guildford might have brought between 20 and 30 sticks for the Flyers so that they could fulfill their game against Guildford last week.
That's wild. That stinks of like old school Elite League, like whenever the Caps came over and didn't have jerseys.
Yep.
And
Wore
had to borrow,
inside out Giants jerseys.
yeah, and had to get like people putting stickers and stuff on the back of things and all, and it's crazy. Like these days, those days should be long gone. And if
I
you
guess
can't-
there's a maybe I'm trying to be nice about it, but there is a nice element to it. It sounds like teams are helping each other out if possible.
Sorry, but that's not a good thing.
No,
They
I
shouldn't have to.
appreciate that, but it's not a great thing in this world that we're living in now. But there is a nice element to it. That it's not just being left high for dry.
I mean, to be honest, if you're the other 9 teams in the league and Fife are in this position, I can understand from a business perspective last year what was done to allow Fife to continue to compete, but this is now 2 years running. We also don't know how long this has been going on under the previous management, how many times Fife had to go to the league and say, we're having problems here, hence why Tom and the other ex-owner whose name I forget now, why they ended up making the final decision to sell the club to this foreign conglomerate and Max Berber. We're also now led to believe that potentially Milan Lucic is financially involved with the team as well now. He may be involved in buying out one of the international owners. Again, all rumor. I'm just telling you what I've seen and what I've heard. There was potential that other imports who were playing for the club may have been in a similar position, that they were financially tied up in the team. I can only imagine the one that I'm thinking of right now is no longer financially tied to the club for a variety of reasons. But yeah, it's a mess of what's going on. And like I say, the biggest problem right now is there's no clarity. The worst thing that could happen right now is Fife put out their season ticket renewals, because the reaction to that would be absolutely brutal. Probably worse than the reaction than Cardiff Devils with their increases. Can you imagine if Fife put that out and also had an increase on their season tickets? It'd be mental. And look, I put the comment up earlier on, and in a sea of statements that have come out from Fife, he's 100% right. You'd think we'd have a statement by now.
Yeah. And the other thing as well is I have noticed from comments and stuff, just online, people just don't seem to even care anymore. People just seem to be exhausted by another same story, another season, and I think people are just really exhausted by the whole thing. And I think there's just no real care left. So some of the comments I was saying was just like, really, who cares, and blah blah blah. So I mean, it's tough.
The goodwill from fans is gone. The goodwill from the 9 other fan bases is completely gone. The goodwill, I imagine, from the 9 other ownership groups is probably wearing thin as well. This ownership group was brought in potentially with all this money to make the oldest club in the UK. And look, if this is the way that Fife goes, I feel like we had this conversation a year ago. If this is the way that Fife goes and Fife Flyers disappear, it's heartbreaking, it's tragic, and it should never have been allowed to happen. Because if money is stuck and money can't come in, or these owners have bought this club and they're mismanaging it in some way, I don't want to say the league is responsible, but the league has a duty of care to its fans and to its product. And we've seen ownership changes within, let's say, the National Hockey League, because that's the one that we see all the time. Those ownership changes have to go through the board. Is the Elite League the same way? We don't know because we don't have transparency within our league. So I don't know. It's terrible. Actually, Anthony's just said it in pretty much the same line that I did. With Anthony's banners on the wall hat on, the oldest club in the country is being treated with such a lack of care that it's mind-boggling. Nobody wants to care for things, it seems. And if it's going to tarnish the history of the club, then like these guys should have been kept well away from the Fife Flyers, and the ownership.
But is that not easy to say?
Should have taken longer.
Was that not easy to say with hindsight? Like, oh, it's hindsight's a beautiful thing, right? We were all.
We know they weren't the only bidder.
No, but when they were part of the bidding, and we were hearing the stories, we were all excited. Everyone was excited that there was new money coming in, but
we didn't get to see the books.
Why would
The previous owners should have been able to see the books. The league, I assume, would have been able to see the books. And let's be honest, if there's, you mentioned, Marty, that there's the rumor of an Israeli citizen owner potentially not being able to move their money into the country. That's not a new thing. That's not in the last 12 months.
No.
So if that's the reality, then someone did not do their proper due diligence on that. And if that was going to be a problem about moving money in, it makes me think twice now about everything that's happened with Fife since the new owners. All of the small mistakes, all of the negative PR, all the negative stories, all the statements. Has anything ever been done right? And that's heartbreaking. From someone who grew up watching the Fife Flyers, like, I've got more history, obviously, with the Flyers than you guys have. I don't want to see that team collapse. I don't want to see an end to that team. It would be heartbreaking for me because right now, where I live, it's the most accessible professional hockey that I've got. And yeah, the club and its history are being dragged through the mud.
Yeah.
Another point. Before we move on, just another point from Anthony as well. At this point, we should probably just have him on. Aaron makes a fair point. If we were full of straw, we'd be scarecrows. Even the old owners weren't caring for Fife either. It was apathetic. That's bad too. Yeah, it's true. Tam Muir and the other guy, yeah, they were massively apathetic towards the club at that point, and the fans as well. But it's history repeating itself. It's just a snake eating its own tail once again.
Yep.
Ask me about the Challenge Cup so I can get more angry.
Well, I was actually going to stick to Scotland. I was going to stick with the Scottish stories and then switch to the Challenge Cup as our last story for the period. So the other story coming out of Scotland is for the Glasgow Clan, and the Glasgow Clan announcing this week that they're entering a new strategic growth phase and is seeking for an experienced group director of hockey operations to lead the roster construction, recruitment strategy, and operational delivery at executive levels, which basically alludes to the fact that basically Corey Nielsen is gone. And therefore they need this person to step in, and this is what they want him for. What's your take on this? I mean, closing date, anybody going to go for it first off? You know, the closing date is 27th of February. Anybody think of a plan?
No.
No.
I suppose for me, the biggest thing is they did this very quietly. And actually, this was the strangest thing. So I trawl through a couple of news websites, like news sources, to put stuff together for the podcast and to keep up and do the socials and stuff. And this one popped up on one of those news conglomerates. So it pulls published pages off websites, essentially. And this one got pulled from the Clan website. And then I thought, I didn't see anything on social media about this. So I went back and started looking through. And they didn't publish this on their social media. So they published it on their website, but didn't actually publicize it. So it's obviously been put out there. It's a really weird one. I can't get my head around this one at all. Everyone knew they needed a new director of hockey because Corey Nielsen was playing with two hats in Glasgow. He was head coach and he was director of hockey. So clearly they were going to have to start looking for a new director of hockey. My question is, in the over a month now since Corey departed, who's been doing that job? Because they haven't announced anyone. They haven't said that their temporary head coach whose name I've completely forgotten because I haven't paid any attention to Glasgow because they're
Maybe-
almost inconsequential at this point.
Maybe it's a case of he's still there and this is an intention and he's going to step down once the person's in place, and that's why they haven't announced
No,
anything.
Corey,
No?
the announcement for Corey was that he was stepping down from all of his roles with the club with immediate effect.
Oh, okay.
So he is gone, and they're now. The reason I ask it is we're into February now, so this is a hugely strategic time for any hockey club to have a director of hockey, because one of the key things they're looking for is someone with connections for scouting and recruitment. It's February. It's too late, guys.
hmm
Your recruitment should have started in December and January. You should have made decisions by now about what guys in your roster you want to keep and where you think you're going to go looking for new players. This is another one. If I'm a Glasgow Clan fan, I'm terrified at that. The fact that they've closet announced that they're looking for a director of hockey, but they've done it in February.
Okay.
It's a month after Corey went. It's scary stuff, and you have to send your application into Setanta. It's obviously Premier Sports.
They
So
own it.
you-
Yeah.
So you have to send your application into one of the HR people at Setanta for Michael O'Rourke to go through all the applications. Obviously, while Murph is away in Milan Cortina doing commentary on the Olympics,
God, I wonder-
I'm paying
I
no
wonder, is
attention to
that
the
it,
Glasgow
though?
Clan.
Could you imagine that? Like, this is no. I'm putting my corporate brain on here. Like, this is no longer just a team. This is like someone's been let go, and did they have to go through the whole process of asking for a backfill?
For a backfill. I'm doing that at the minute. It's a nightmare.
And have to go up the chain to request for a backfill and then
Had
come
to
back
write,
down.
had to write a business case.
Yeah,
If that's
taking them a
true,
month to do that.
if that's true, and you're the Glasgow Clan and you're going through this and going, so can you just tell us, so far, your director of hockey, what have they brought to the club? Can you tell us what your major KPIs have been?
Yeah.
No trophies. No, we won an Aladdin Cup. HR, what the hell is that?
We haven't been in
Yeah.
the news in this year.
Oh yay!
Yeah, we haven't tried to sign anyone controversial since that guy who left that other club tried to sign that controversial guy. Yeah, that would be a tough one to get through. It. Maybe you're right. Maybe that just took them ages to get that through Satanta HR.
That would
They're
be
just-
insane if that was it.
They were like going. They were like pointing at the equipment manager. Can he not do it?
Yeah. It is strange.
There's-
that they
there's
ca-
every-
I guess
every
the main
bridge-
thing is that they done it quietly. Like, they obviously needed to hire whatever the reason for the keeping it long, but why
But
keep
why?
it quiet?
Why put it on the Clan website?
Mm.
That's what I can't fathom. Why put it on the public-facing Clan website?
Yeah, like a person who's going to take that role isn't just going. They're not just going to go. Oh, look, there's a clan. I'll apply for that. No,
But
it's all going to be
gonna
through agents.
They're
and
not
stuff.
going to stumble on it by looking
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
Clan
Yeah, that's
website.
what I mean. Yeah, but even people that you want, those people don't. They don't go looking for roles. People go looking for them.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
I'm away onto LinkedIn here to see if it's on LinkedIn.
Here, do you want me to verify some skills for you before you click apply?
Intimate knowledge of the elite.
let's-
Intimate knowledge of the elite league.
You will be glad to know that the Glasgow Clan have been active on LinkedIn and posted it 2 days ago.
There you go.
on LinkedIn.
That's
Amazing.
On
after
LinkedIn.
they put it on. That's like at least a day after they put it on their own website.
That's
Dear
funny.
God.
Hilarious.
You should apply
Um,
for it, Aaron, just while you're there. Just
Oh, it's no longer accepting like applications.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh.
But it's not
It's because Aaron.
27.
It's because they wanted Aaron.
Do you think actually? Do you know, Aaron? I think you're onto something there. Do you think they got told by their HR department they had to publicize it somewhere?
Oh,
They've
that
got
could be it.
someone for the job. They've got someone for the job, but they've been told they had to advertise it. So by putting it on their website, they've put it out. Have we just rumbled the clan?
It's the equipment guy. The equipment guy got the job.
I think it's the guy that sells hot dogs outside. He's the only guy that was daft enough to apply for the job.
I'm telling you, they're part of a big corporation now. There's rules that they have to do.
Anthony says they've offered it to Dave with his jersey collection. He'll make sure the designs are better.
Well, yeah, it would definitely won't have Mel Gibson on it anyway.
It wouldn't be that hard, I suppose, to make them better anyway. Guys, let's move on to the last story for this period. And we're moving on to John's favourite competition in the Elite League, the Challenge Cup. We last week, or our last podcast 2 weeks ago, we talked about by the time we come to this podcast, we were going to have one game we're going to have one team that is already in the finals, and we'll know. And the first game will be played in the second team, and we'll be waiting for one last game. No, they announced very late on, about an hour before the puck was to drop in Belfast, or 2 hours or so, but before the puck was to drop in Belfast, that the Challenge Cup game between the Belfast Giants and the Coventry Braves, which is the second leg of that game, was to be postponed after a flight cancellation. Was the Challenge Cup semi-final. Basically, as I say, it came out in social media posts, and there was emails pinged in to say that it had been cancelled because Coventry couldn't make it over for that game. Therefore, the rescheduled game was announced today, and that is for Wednesday, the 4th of March at 7 p.m, and that'll be in the SSE Arena. So, John, unfortunately, we're pushing back another week to get the semi-finals.
2 weeks.
What? 2 weeks? Yes, 2 weeks. Yep. Well, no. Technically, we're pushing back another week before it's final, because next week we were supposed to finish it next week, and it's a week after the game. So technically, yeah.
Okay.
So the other game that did happen, that did take place last night, was the game between the Sheffield Steelers and the Nottingham Panthers, in which the Nottingham Panthers won that game. I want to say kind of easily, 3-0. They walked away last night. So the Steelers have an uphill fight to claw back not just 3 goals, but they'll need 4 at least to go ahead, or at least tie it and go take it to overtime. But boys, I mean, it just, what's your thoughts? I mean, obviously we talk about it all the time, just things happen. We've had this before where, travel becomes difficult for teams. Normally it's Giants getting somewhere or whatever, but what's our thoughts on this?
I'm have to say I'm pretty impressed with how quickly the Giants were able to get a reschedule. I know that this isn't the concert period, and there's a bit more availability, but I'm sure organizing that arena isn't a quick flip of a coin, but it's good to get that done as quickly as they could. And now it'll just be the logistics of what fans from Coventry will be able to make a repeat trip, because the big issue there was that because it wasn't weather related, that most of the fans made it over.
So it wasn't weather related, because we
was
were
a
all
single
thinking like
flight.
it was kind of stormy that day, but it wasn't terrible.
Do you know why it was cancelled? They were booked on a prop plane, and the wind gusts went higher than the prop plane could manage. It was the only flight out of the airport that was cancelled going over there, going out of Birmingham, because it was a prop plane. If they had booked an EasyJet, for example, they'd have made it.
Who did they? Do you know who they were booked with?
Aer Lingus, I believe.
Aer Lingus.
Amazing.
Yeah. The other thing I did see was there was a conversation had that they could have made it over. They could have rearranged another flight that was slightly later. They could have got a 5 o'clock flight that would have gotten into Belfast for 6:30. By the time they get to the arena, get a bit of practice in or whatever, work their legs. They asked to see if the Giants could push the start time back to, I believe, 8 o'clock or 8:30 on
Staffing
Wednesday night. But because staffing was one thing, but also because they had a major event on today in the Odyssey tonight, and they couldn't get it turned around quick enough for the guys to set up for the concert that was going on tonight.
Because that was the big issue with a lot of those, when they pushed the match back, especially on the day. They're pushing guys into 12-hour shifts and stuff, because they're starting at the same time.
Yep.
Or at least they're scheduled to start at the same time, so it's not just as easy as flicking it around.
Do you know what it does though? It almost guarantees that the Challenge Cup final is going to be midweek.
It's always midweek.
It didn't always used to be. I have a vague recollection of a Paddy's Day final And that's pretty much where my recollection ends, because I'm pretty sure it was 2022, and I think that was a Friday.
No,
Okay.
I'll take your word for it. I couldn't remember back that far, but I'll take your word for it. No, there has been. I know there had been. I know I say it's usually midweek, but I suppose historically for the last few years it's been midweek. But you're right. I know there's a game. I know there's when it was being held. Remember whenever they did this whole thing of like a neutral venue when they held it in the Vindico Arena, for like 3 years in a row or whatever. I remember there was I think it was like a weekend game there. It was like a Saturday or Sunday game. I think they tried to replicate like the Sunday idea of like playoff type style idea where they have the Sunday game. But yeah, so I think the last few years it's been midweek, because obviously midweek can't be done. You know, it's a logistical nightmare midweek. But anyway, we're out there
Actually,
again.
do you know what? I'm wrong. See, because you keep our diary up to date, Marty, with the games and things. The 2022 Challenge Cup final was on Wednesday the 16th.
Yeah, okay.
So
There you go.
I stand corrected on that one. But
You just started partying and kept going.
I just kept it going, because I'm pretty sure we had a double-header weekend as well. So I think I just mildly kept drinking for the next 2 days, because obviously Paddy's Day's a holiday. Paddy's Day's a holiday with you. It's not with me anymore. I've lost that one by moving away. And yeah, just kept a mild sort of level of inebriation right the way through to the weekend, and just carried on.
Good job. Good job. I think that is it for stories for this period. The only other story I did have, but I thought, nah, do you know what? We'll just skip past it. Was the controversy around the uproar, shall we say, around the season ticket announcements earlier last week. I think it was with the Cardiff Devils, but we'll pass it on.
If anyone wants to discuss it further, go have a look at our TikTok channel, have a look at my video about it, and drop something in the comments. That's what to do.
Okay, well
Winner.
then, I don't think we have anything else apart from moving on to our Belly Box segment for period 1. Okay, our penalty box segment is any stories or any bans or decisions by DOPS that come to light in the week that we are recording. And this happened to be this week. We have another penalty for a very familiar name. Sunday night in Fife, Flyers forward number 74, Garrett Hunt, was assessed a 5-minute major penalty and a game misconduct for an illegal check to the head. Stars forward Craig Carrigan, who's in the attacking zone, skips around the back of the net and control the puck, and is engaged by Flyers defenseman Jeremy Masala. As the play moves up towards half wall, Garrigan is pushed low by Masala and in a legal battle. And at this point, Hunt delivers a hit to an opponent who is in a vulnerable position, making the head the main point of contact. And a hit where the head contact is avoidable. This is an illegal check to the head. To summarize, illegal check to the head is avoidable, vulnerable opponent, and effective immediately, Fife Flyers forward number 74, Garrett Hunt, is fined and suspended for 2 more games this season. I mean, seriously.
Only 2 games, as you say. We keep hearing.
That's what I was about to say. 2 games seems a bit light for a guy who spent most of the season suspended.
It'll be one for the hit, one for repeat offender.
It should be more than that.
Everyone. There have been a lot of comments saying that he's not just a repeat offender. This is his 3rd ban. He had a 1-game ban at the start of the season. He's had his 6-game ban for the sucker punch, and this is a 2-game ban. So technically, on if you look at previous calls by DOPS, and again, why people do this is just beyond me. Like, they're looking for patterns in chaos. But technically, you probably should be looking at two games as a repeat offender. So it should be 3 games. But I did some digging, because I put this on social media. And then went and actually tried to do a bit of digging myself. With that game, with those 2-game bans, Garrett Hunt, as far as I know, and as far as I can confirm, becomes the most banned captain in the Elite League era.
Ever
In the Elite League era. So obviously other players have taken bigger bans, like Matt Nickerson got his 20-game ban. Who was it that got the 47-game ban?
Campbell. Derek Campbell.
Yeah.
Derek Campbell. But as far as captains of teams are concerned, as far as I can confirm right now, Garrett Hunt is the most banned captain in any season in the Elite League.
Wow.
I think
Um,
so, Anthony. I think on that one, I think my one would be that Voth's big bands were not when he was captain.
it's a good call. Yep. And if you want more about the bad boys of Elite League, you can go and check out our video over on our YouTube channel. We did one a few months back, and there's a countdown of 10 players with the most bans in the Elite League. So go over there and have a check.
You're going to have to do the top band captains of the Elite League now.
Well, that's only going to be one for a 10 list. I don't know. No, I'm sure we could make that.
I'm sure Adam Keefe probably took at least 2 games while he was captain at some point.
I'm sure. Boys, anything else on that story before we move on?
Silly boy.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, then let's move on to our period 2 of hockey.
Hello and welcome to Period 2 of Hockey, where we talk about hockey from everywhere in the world. We're going to skip the NHL rundown because we're still on the Olympic freeze. Service will resume on the 25th of February in the NHL. So I know that there'll be a lot of people waiting with bated breath to see what happens there. So this will be dominated by Olympic stories. So John, I will fire it over to you. You've got a rundown of some results.
I'm not going to go right the way back through the groups. Obviously, in the last few weeks, we've had the men's and the women's ice hockey competitions have been ongoing. I've lost my train of thought because I was looking at the comments that were coming in there. We have the final results of the women's competition, because if you were listening to the podcast earlier on, you'll actually know who's got the gold. But earlier today, we had the bronze medal game in the women's competition. It was Switzerland against Sweden. I watched this game while I was working today, guys. Watching Matt Merritt on Twitter knows what I'm talking about when I say I was watching hockey and working at the same time. And the overtime goal is just something else. Proper little bar down number past the netminder. Switzerland coming away with the bronze medal in that game. Their first bronze, only their second bronze in history, their second Olympic medal in history, and their first since 2014. Thank you, Seth Bennett, on comms for telling me that one earlier on today. We did also have the gold medal game. Again, it was the 2 that we expected to be in the gold medal game in the women's competition, and it was the US and Canada. I was watching the end of this game as I came online. I was chatting to the guys at the very top of the podcast, Marty, before you came on there, and the US pulled their netminder with a couple of minutes to go. They were 1-0 down, and managed to make the 6-on-5 work and leveled it up, and then managed to get the overtime gold medal goal in overtime. So coming from 1-0 down to win it 2-1 in overtime. Canada then skate away with silver, but as we know, they will not be welcomed as heroes to Canada. They will in fact be treated as traitors for failing to bring back the gold for their national sport. We then move into the semi-finals of the men's competition. Like I say, I'm not going to go traipsing back through all the different stages, but I'll tell you what's ahead. So tomorrow, the 20th, we have the 2 semi-finals, and clearly the groups have been set up well because we're potentially setting up the big final again. We have Canada-Finland will be the first game, and that will be at 3:40 tomorrow local time. And then we'll have the US against Slovakia at 8:10 tomorrow night. What a shame they're not doing those tonight, because 8:10, that would be a perfect time for some goal horns.
Can we just take a second just to talk about the fact that Canada being really lucky to be in that semi-final playoff spot, especially given the whole issue with the Czechia team with the 6 men on the ice during their goal. Lucky enough, Canada obviously took it back and won the game, but I mean, I mean, if you're a fan of the Olympics, which Winter Olympics, and I am, I mean, between this and the curling controversy, I mean, it's been pure drama. It's been great. And then obviously we've had the fighting, and fighting is not allowed in ice hockey in the Olympics, and we've had
Well,
that.
I know we don't have a penalty box for this one, but let's talk about it. The French player. The French Federation
Aye.
banned the guy for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
Like, did France forget that fighting is part of hockey at every other tournament in the world?
He pure
I
handed
mean-
it to him as well, which is amazing.
The drama has been phenomenal. I've loved every
It's-
minute of it.
Well, here let's talk about. We've said sort of what things are going. So just to round this off, so we've got those tomorrow. The bronze medal game is on Saturday, and that will obviously be the two losers of tomorrow's games. And the gold medal game is on Sunday. Those two games, hilariously, the US and Canadian fans are going boogaloo about this because it's hilarious. The bronze medal game will be broadcast at 20 to 8 our time, GMT, which puts it at around about 2 o'clock Eastern, or what, 10 to 3, 20 to 3 Eastern time. Take a few hours off for Pacific time. The gold medal game is being played at prime time European time, which is brilliant. It's being faced off at just after 1 o'clock our time, which means it's going to be at like 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern, about 5 in the morning Pacific, and they're going mental because clearly they all want to be in the pub, but they're going, it's shocking that the Olympics are not being played at American time. It's like, I get it, it's a global competition, but why are they not doing it so that I can watch it and have a beer? It's like, it's America. Go down to a restaurant and get a beer. Everyone go to Vegas. They literally don't stop serving beer. Go to Vegas, go to Atlantic City, go to one of those two places. You can drink as much as you want
Right.
and watch
Go to
the
your
hockey
fridge.
at 5. Exactly. Go to your fridge.
I'm not stopping you from having a beer.
But it's brilliant how much they are losing it over the face-off times. It's fantastic.
Hilarious.
That's if they get there.
Well,
Exactly.
I mean, they will.
How well, yeah.
But
yeah.
Shall
I think
we
Sorry.
shall we talk about the
So it would make for a really interesting goal game if the two losers went through. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I could you imagine both United States and Canada getting knocked out and then playing in the. I mean, it could happen. It could happen.
It's just a game.
I just don't see it. I think they've been dominant the whole way through, and I think, well, apart from obviously,
Yeah.
say, but I mean, I think Canada. I don't want to speak ill of obviously Slovakia because they've obviously got to the semi-final, so fair play. But I have a feeling that Canada has a tiny bit harder game to play in their semi-final, come up against Finland. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah. No.
well, let's talk about what makes things a little bit harder for Canada, shall we?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the fact that Sidney Crosby is not confirmed to be missing the games just yet, but there is a massive question mark over his participation at the rest of the Olympics after picking up a fairly nasty looking right knee injury in the game against Czechia. Very early on in the competition, in that game, he took a really bad knock, which he didn't come back out. Now, he skated off the ice under his own power, but he hasn't returned to play. Not returned to play because Canada hasn't played another game since. But the head coach of Team Canada has not said, John Cooper hasn't said he won't play. But all the reports coming from inside camp suggest that they are preparing to announce that for tomorrow's game, Connor McDavid will wear the C for Team Canada. Guys, let alone the impact that has on Canada, if you're a Pittsburgh fan, you are losing it right now. This is what every NHL franchise worries about, is your superstar going to an international competition like the Olympics. This is what the NHL for years have said they didn't want to see, was their superstars go to the Olympics and come back injured. Now, to be fair, the Olympics is like playing with an extra set of pads on because it's still physical, it's still fast, but they can't fight. It's pretty, let's just say, it's pretty rare to see enormous hits. Now, what I will say is, in that Czechia-Canada game, that was one of the most physical Olympic games I think I've ever seen. Sid was taking the vast majority of it. He was getting pummeled until he took that bad hit. But Pittsburgh fans, they're going to be pretty worried now, given that.
I mean, the States woke up this morning to obviously news outlets right across the whole state, or Canada, sorry, I should say. Not States. Canada woke up.
The 51st
stories.
state woke up this morning.
Like they woke up with obviously news stories, obviously that all of this happening and this taking place. And honestly, within hours, that's all you could see was the stories about what is the NHL's response going to be? Will the NHL be sending no more players back to the Olympics after like star player has been injured? Blah blah. I mean, that was always going to come if any of the main players, big hitters, got injured in any way. And you know, obviously the fact that Sidney Crosby, being who he is and the name that he is, I mean, it was always going to bring people to ask, you know, does this injury cause the NHL to reconsider sending players to Olympics in the future? I don't think it will, but
do you know what's going to be pretty interesting? First game between the Penguins and the Ducks. Because the player that checked Sidney Crosby was Radko Gudas. And if you don't know who he is, he's the captain of the Anaheim Ducks.
I was
I'm
getting a nice hit.
I'm rewatching back Ted Lasso at the moment, and I'm on the third season of Ted Lasso, and they're in the international part of. If anybody hasn't watched Ted Lasso, I'll explain. So basically, there's a point where two team members are going to face off against, are going to play against each other in their respective national teams, and like one of the players completely changes his whole personality towards him, and like literally takes him out. I see the same things happening in the ice like this. You've got teammates on opposite teams completely just like in each other's faces. And then how do you go back into the change rooms? Like, you know, how do you walk back into like Toronto and be like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, sorry, yeah, I did maybe go in a wee bit harder than I should have, but you know, whatever. How are you doing today?
We saw that a couple of months ago when Canada and US had.
Oh wow,
right?
Yeah. So, we haven't seen that level. Obviously, that was the NHL World Cup thing last year. But yeah, we haven't seen that.
Was that last year? Oh, it was. That would have been last year. Yeah, okay.
It was last year.
It's only February.
yeah. It was this time last year. Yeah.
Amazing. That is all. Can you hear me?
Hello? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everything started binging and bonging.
You were talking, so none of us talked.
No, everything started binging and bonging in my ear from my PC, and it's like, that is the final story for period 2. So we'll move on to period 3.
This is really weird. I introduced period 1 and now I'm moving on to introduce period 3, which is our general Knocky News. Knocky News is where we talk about anything and everything else in the world of hockey, but generally just where we talk about jerseys, and this time round is absolutely no different. There's actually no stories to talk about. I did have an NHL story in here, but honestly, I don't think it's worth it. Anthony will scold me for it. I was going to talk about the change of head coach in Milton Keynes, but I'm not. So there.
So tough. Moving on.
So tough. I said it. It happened. Let's move on. Guys, there's literally only a couple of jerseys to talk about. The other jerseys that have come out over the last couple of weeks, I've pretty much covered on our TikTok channel. There's not been much, to be honest. We kind of got through Pride in the Elite League. We've got through some of the awful Valentine's jerseys that were announced. Some of them were even worn, unlike Fife's, which weren't. Apparently, they were never even delivered. But we're starting to get a couple others announced now. We're coming up close now to the Elite League's Retro Week. We've had a couple of retro jerseys announced already, which I think we've covered in previous episodes. We've had the Steelers with their gears. We've had the Panthers with their retro jersey. The next one to come up with their Retro Week jerseys are the Coventry Blaze. Guys, the Coventry Blaze one is an interesting one for me because I want to read you what they said on their website. they've said that they are turning back the clock in style on Sunday, the 8th of March, as they face the Nottingham Panthers, and it's set to be a night of pure retro class. Now, they've designed their jerseys around a classic cream base, a nod to iconic hockey sweaters of the 60s and 70s, and paired with their unmistakable blaze blue, a look that they say delivers a striking, heritage-inspired finish. Clean lines, vintage striping, and bold detailing bring the era to life, while special Coventry wording proudly adorns the front, paying tribute to the city we represent. Guys, this isn't what retro's supposed to be, is it?
It depends on your take of what you want retro to be, but I mean, I would have assumed it would be retro based on your team history, based on how long you've been, like your team has been around. So I would have
like
assumed,
your old jerseys, you know.
yeah, or like like all the other teams have done. Using your old Blaze logo. I mean, this is what the fourth incarnation of the Blaze logo. I mean, using one of your old original Blaze logos. Instead of using the new one. And I mean, I see what they're going for. Do I see it as does it feel 60s to me? No. Yeah, I don't really see what they're going for too well. But
I think the big thing that draws this one out is that they've added more text with the logo, so it just looks like there's just words everywhere. With all the sponsors, and I get it, they have to be there, blah blah. I do like the sort of beige look to it, but adding the word Coventry just makes you so aware of how many other words are on that jersey. Normally the logo takes away from, it's a lot. That's all
Is
I
the
could
front
say.
on the back different, or is that just me?
Yeah, the front and the back is different.
It's okay. I actually quite like it. Weirdly, now I would like it if it didn't have a gazillion sponsors on it. I actually think it would be a really nice, clean jersey.
If they'd
if
have
they
went
did.
for images for their sponsors and somehow got rid of the words, like logos, just whenever they have the Coventry as the words, it might have
to
worked.
really hit that one home.
Yeah, but because there's just like words everywhere. And I don't like the retro font is quite, for Coventry's pretty cool, but then they've went with like an ultra modern font on the back. It's a bit odd.
It's contradictory.
Can I say that I don't like the way that they've got that Coventry wording? To me, that is that's baseball. It looks like something you'd see on a baseball jersey, not on a hockey jersey.
I don't know.
I'm trying. Is it the Mets? Is it the Mets have that kind of font?
Oh, it just looks like normal standard. What do they call it? Vintage. What's the name of that font? It's like vintage.
Yeah, it's just
Athletic or something. I think is what the font is called. It's gonna be naming fonts. But I think it's called like Vintage Athletic, and that's what it looks like. It just looks like one of the standard.
This could be my monitor. Are the different blues the blue that's around the collar, and then the blue that's on the bottom stripe? Is it two different shades of blue?
No,
Like,
it
the
looks the
top one
same.
looks a bit more teal to me.
No, that light blue is the same. I think it's just the way the image has been sort of presented, because we keep getting these like pre-production images whenever they do them. We get the digital versions, and I sometimes think that what you're presented with in person looks very different, especially when you add the texture of the jersey fabric. Now, to be honest, if they made this in wool, which is what the guys in the 50s and 60s were wearing, then yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, and players will drop through dehydration through the game. So yeah, you want to do vintage history, do that. Do it in wool. Make it an actual sweater. But to me, on a modern fabric, that doesn't work. It looks tobacco stained, if it's me.
I mean, that's classic 60s then.
Okay,
Getting right in there.
maybe you're right with that.
And John, it's the Dodgers.
Dodgers, that's the one.
Oh, okay.
The logo you were thinking of. That was
I knew it was
frantically
baseball.
checking.
As like, fair enough. I think we can say this with most jerseys: get rid of all the sponsors, and I think it'd be a nice enough jersey.
Yeah, you're right. I think all the other colors just take away from it. Guys, I'm going to switch slides here. Hopefully, this is going to be very seamless because there was one that I realized I'd forgotten about that I do want to talk about. So hopefully, this is fairly seamless. There we go. Guys, the Belfast Giants put out their competition for their retro jersey as well. There were multiple options, but the fan base online have voted for the 2018-2019 teal, black, and red jersey to come back as the retro jersey. Guys, we had a conversation about this. Is it retro if you just reproduce an old jersey? Or is that just hitting print again?
Isn't that what we just said 3 minutes ago? You were like, you were complaining about the other jersey because it wasn't a replication of what they had previous.
But I don't want it to be a replica. I want it to at least harken back to it. And I know exactly what Marty's going to say, and I'm going to let him say it because I feel exactly the same. It's the thing in the middle. So Marty, go say what you're going to say.
I said this in our WhatsApp group, and I'll clearly say it now. As you said, John, this is literally someone went, just send that JPEG file or that whatever file it is. Can't remember what files they use for when they're creating the clothing kind of, because I was looking at it recently and I can't remember what the name of the files are. It was literally someone went into their box, went, right, 2018, there's our setup file. Let's send it off to Warrior and get them to print it, because obviously it was Kukri that made this jersey back in the day. So obviously Kukri is no longer. So all that's basically going to happen is it's a carbon copy with some new sponsors on it. But it's a carbon copy of a jersey that they'd already done before, just with a new supplier. So the texture will feel different on the actual jersey itself. My complaint about this is the fact that if they were going to go with a vintage style of a jersey, then and I know what you're going to say to me, Aaron, in a minute, because I think you said this to me before. Then at least if you're going to go with this, a carbon copy of an old jersey, change the Finn logo to the new Finn logo. Therefore, you've got new meets old, and vice versa. If you're going to use the old logo, go with a brand new design that looks a bit vintage. But if you're going to use the old logo, but it has to be a brand new design. It can't be something that we've seen before, because otherwise it just looks like a carbon copy of something that we've done. Now, don't get me wrong. I love this jersey. I think this jersey was a really nice jersey at the time. And I didn't buy it at the time because I didn't like the Kukri jerseys at the time. Ironic, because that's who made our Door 14 jerseys. But I do like this jersey, but I just think it's a bit lazy, because I just think it is someone who just went reprint.
It's very, very football-esque. All the Premier League teams have a habit of doing that. Re-releasing a jersey from X number of years ago for fans to buy. It sells. It's obviously a reason for doing it. So I do like this jersey. I would have liked seeing something new, but yeah, sort of. If I was going to get them to recreate a jersey, why wouldn't you recreate some of the really early ones?
Which to be fair, they did do some of the really early ones. When they did the really early ones, they did add on. When they recreated the really early ones, they weren't stitched, and they were a different type of style. They were printed, obviously, so it looked different straight away. And also then they kind of maybe changed around, either using that Belfast font thing that they had, so that was on the front of it, or using the new logo rather than the old logo. And fair play, I like that when they did that kind of idea. But yeah, I just think that this is just weird that they went down the route of just doing this, but with just updated sponsors on it.
Can I add that every year retro comes around, there's one jersey I want to see reproduced, and it's because I missed it first time round. I wasn't there for it first time round, and I have tried to buy one many times. Will they please do the silver bullet 1 year? It's killing me. Like, I do actually like this jersey. I like the black. I am of the Giants fan base that came around after the black jerseys of Doom, and I love us wearing a black jersey. I really do. I have my championship black jersey, the one-off, which admittedly we sharpied out the stars because there were 4 stars and we didn't win four championships that year. But like, I like the black, but the silver bullet to me is the absolute go-to. Failing that, it's the Ties jerseys, and I would genuinely kill for the Giants to do a pro. If the Giants made a pro-stitched lace jersey in the current styles, not the tie-dye, I would sink money into it straight away. Like
Do you know,
I
maybe
wouldn't
that's
even
what they're
wait for. I
missing.
wouldn't wait for a gamer. I'd go sink money into it.
That's what the retro jersey should be. Always, no matter what the style is, it shouldn't be a print. It should be back to the old Stitch jerseys.
Now, to be fair, with this one, the Giants have said that you can get a replica of these jerseys in either screen print or in pro, so you can get the stitched. So I imagine if they're saying it's a pro jersey, my hope would be that old Finn logo, which is on that jersey, will come fully stitched. The risk you're taking there is I don't know if they've clarified it or not, and it's whether you only get like a name bar and numbers which are stitched. I would be really disappointed if I bought that as a pro jersey and that Finn logo wasn't fully stitched.
It wasn't. Yeah.
And what's missing from this jersey, which will likely be on the actual printed jerseys, will be that lovely little warrior sticker thing right there in the middle above the stena line on the chest. That will probably
Maybe
be on there too.
hologram thing.
Yeah.
That peels off 20 minutes after you buy it.
Yeah, after your first wash. Yep.
Yeah, and then stays
Okay.
with a wee weird grey sticky bit.
Catches all the food you eat at the arena. Guys, couple more jerseys to rattle through here before we're finished. The next one, the National League is basically in the middle of its Pride celebrations right now, and this is one that we didn't look at previously. The Steel Dogs. I quite like this, to be honest.
Yep.
The sponsors are a bit crazy on it. I'm not a big fan of that Trigger Hub sponsor being on there. But actually, the busy design that they've got down the arms, those sponsors on the arms kind of disappear for me. I don't actually mind them because of the design they've done.
That's because you've been hypnotized. That's because you've been hypnotized fully by when you look at the arms. You go into trance.
That's right.
I have to admit that the back of the jersey is the only time where I've seen that word art coloring or that word art style. I know it's the rainbow, but it totally looks like word art 97.
It
looks
does
pretty well.
It was just a random one to throw out there because we've covered quite a lot of the National League Pride jerseys as they've gone on. But yeah, I think the Steel Dogs, solid 7 out of 10. Well done, guys.
Yeah, really nice touches all around.
And guys, I've got one more. This is quite niche, okay? And I've thrown it in here because I just want to throw it out there. I've noticed because I'm doing quite a lot of social media stuff, especially TikTok, there's a lot of small creators now. I mean, I still count us as a small creator. We're under 2,000 followers, just under 2,000 followers on TikTok. But there's a lot of other places doing stuff. And actually, there's one place I don't want to talk about because they got some support from a local kit supplier to do something special for them. And it's Jack Hockey. Jack does a lot of videos on TikTok. He does loads of stuff. He does game reviews. He does score predictions. He talks about big news and stuff. Basically, me and Jack are doing pretty similar stuff on TikTok right now. But Jack designed his own logo. Really nice. Jack _ hockey 75 is his username. You can go find him on TikTok and Instagram. But the guys at 5on3 Apparel who do jerseys across the National League and do other bits and pieces for other Elite League teams, they also do like pucks and a load of other stuff. But they got together with Jack. They said to Jack, you design your logo, we'll put a jersey together for you. And they put this together for him. He's clearly a Steelers fan, so he's got the orange in there. But I like this. I love that custom jerseys are so accessible now. So fair play to 5on3 for putting that together for Jack. Marty, you're coughing like you want to make a point.
If 5on3 want to reach out and maybe join up, I mean, we're looking new jerseys designed with our new logo. Maybe we'll reach out and see what they can do for us because we are looking some. Because obviously the jersey we do have has our old logo, and I would like a new one. So let's maybe look into that. Jack is a really good guy. I've been chatting with him recently, and I'm hoping we can have him on the podcast before the end of the season. I'm hoping to reach out to a few of the content creators on TikTok from the different teams, especially coming into the playoffs, to basically have a bit of a conversation with them about their respective teams. And I've already reached out to Jack, and he said he'd be up for it. So hopefully watch the space, and he will be on before the end of the season. But yes, no, good content. He definitely puts it out, and as I said to him, I like his content because it's quite balanced. He tries to stay as positive as possible and doesn't get down into the too nasty over, and where some other people maybe do. And I think
I love getting into the nasty stuff. I just
I think it.
I fling the nasty at everyone online.
Let me finish. At times, it does feel a bit refreshing to have someone out there who doesn't do it. And John, your stuff is good. I'm just saying that sometimes it's just you just want a bit
good.
Your stuff's great, John. Your stuff's great.
Feels like we're Dave, are we watching John's quarterly review here?
Yeah. He's going to be telling him he's going to get a 50% pay cut.
Yeah.
Pay cut? He wants a pay rise based on his current.
I want a massive percentage rise, by the way, and we'll talk percentages. Can I just? I'm not gonna. There's a comment in here that I want to throw up on the screen because I've had early sight of something. I just want to put it up here. I'll put that other one up. Yvette McLean, Ethan's mum, has just sent me something on Instagram. Yvette, wow. Yes. Yeah. Can we please chat about that, because incredible. Sorry, what did Anthony say? John does indeed do the nasty. He's been very... Oh, okay, right. Anthony, okay. So, there were supposed to be 2 Challenge Cup games on. And in the middle of it all, there was a, in inverted commas, meaningless league game between Guildford and Dundee. Okay? I did say nobody cared. And you jumped on that as soon as I put it on X. So, I made reparations today in my video where I talked about the results of the Panthers-Steelers game and the fact that the other game, the Giants-Blaze, got cancelled. And I did say somebody did care. I mean, it was a 6-2 drubbing of the Dundee Stars. But yes, okay, well done. You did care. And I made good on that. I stand by what I said.
Hilarious.
I'd make friends and influence people, eh, John?
Is that us, John? Are you done?
Oh yeah, it's my period, isn't it? Yeah, it's done.
Who do you think you are, me?
Perfect. With that comes to the with that period coming to an end, that also takes our show to an end for this week. All it's left us to do is to point you in the direction of all of our different channels so you can get involved and watch content and do all that good stuff. First off, Door 14 Hockey Podcast. We are on all of the podcast providers of choice, so don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us reviews, whatever it is on your podcast provider of choice. You can watch this episode and all of our you can get this episode and all of our other episodes on our website, door14hockey.com. And for anybody watching on Facebook or anywhere that's not YouTube, you can use that QR. Oh, I suppose YouTube's fine. This QR code here will take you to the website. Talking of YouTube, we are door14hockey.com, door14 Hockey on YouTube as well. You can get this video and all the other video versions of the podcast. You can go out there and check that out. And again, you get this is for anybody who's not on YouTube currently. They can go to here and it'll take them to YouTube. Don't forget to do the like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Well, all that down the bottom there, so don't forget to do that. We do have some new content videos, hopefully, fingers crossed, coming out this coming week. We have one coming out hopefully Monday or Tuesday of this week, and hopefully a few more coming in the future weeks. It's been a bit of a long slog. I have been between being sick, being knocked down, being sick again. It's been
I get up again. You never let me down.
It's been a hell of a start of a year. So hopefully we can get back onto some of the content on YouTube there. And lastly, John alluded to the socials. This is a QR code for all of our socials. Take us to our Linktree account, and you can check out our socials there. We're Door14 Hockey on all of the usual places: Facebook, X, TikTok, and we're also on Blue Sky and a bunch of others. And you can follow it on this QR code here. That is it for this week. All that's left for us to do is to sign off for this episode. I'm Marty.
I'm Dave.
I'm John.
I'm Aaron.
10 years.
Have a great